What's up, my peeps? The Penguin has got to be one of the most consistent shows on television right now, and probably for... Actually, it's HBO, so there's plenty of shows on there, but as far as DC properties, the best and most consistent show to date. Let's talk... Oh, well, here's my guest star, Salem. Let's discuss Top Hat, the most recent entry, episode 7. That means we only have one more episode to go. One more. And why? Why? This has been a fantastic ride. Last episode we saw Sophia basically finally discovering that Oz's mom was actually still alive. And it ended with... Yeah, Oz was able to turn the lights back on in, I forget what the name of the area is right now, but my guest star decides to shut off all our lights, why don't we, little man? Anyways, he turns the light off, but it comes at a cost, because Sophia at that same time finds out where Vic and Miss Oz are held up. So now we lead into that. But before we get there, we have a flashback. We get to find out what exactly happened with Oz's brothers. So at this point, all we know about his brothers are that they died. Say hi to everybody. Yeah, there you go. Okay, move to the side, buddy. But we don't know how. We don't know exactly what happened. Oz hasn't mentioned it. Mom clearly doesn't know or hasn't mentioned it. We get a flashback. And we find out who Oz really is and what kind of drove him down the road he's on now. So a quick recap on that is, his brothers and him are going down, making a day of things during that on their path to the arcade. They come across the big gangster in the area, Rex. And Rex gives his older brother some money so they're going to go to the arcade, but instead, because it's raining, they go play flashlights in the subway where Oz is currently set up his Bliss setup. But one thing we know about Oz is he's impulsive, right? So they're playing their game, and they get to a part where Oz can't really access a part of the tunnel. He feels his brothers did that on purpose, to spite him. So in impulse, he kind of locks this door and locks him in there. Now, it's raining, as I mentioned before, so that tunnel is an overflow tunnel shaft. So it fills up. One thing we'll see right before that is, he's hanging out with his mom. His brothers are playing zombies, and they get his mom's attention away from him, which kind of looks like it kind of bugs him. He's enjoying that one-on-one time. So he wasn't really quite happy with that. So now he's back home. He's got that one-on-one time with his mom. He's really appreciating. So you don't really see him in a rush to go help his brother. He knows it's raining. He knows there might be something wrong, but he's not really putting any effort as far as getting back to save them. So they end up drowning. And Mom is unaware of that. Mom just knows that they were missing, and that's that. That's as far as she knows. They're missing. Which is crazy, right? We see the lengths that he'll go to basically not necessarily get his way, but like if feels he's disrespected, like those impulses just kick in and he doesn't turn back. We've seen that throughout the show. He just reacts when anyone pokes fun at him or attacks him on a personal level. He just snaps. And in the outside of the flashback, in the real world, he's come across the scene Sal's found him, whoops his ass for a little bit. He's holding him for Sophia. He talks Oz into taking him back to the Bless setup. Now, before that, though, let me rewind. He actually finds Vic unconscious as Sal's approaching. So he lets Vic loose and has him basically get an army for him. So Vic's out on the streets. Now Sal's at Bliss things, basically telling everybody he's going to take over. And Oz manages to cut the lights. A whole scuffle happens. His crew ends up getting the better hand of Sal's crew. Sal and Oz are fighting. Sal ends up having a heart attack and dies. Not the way that Oz wanted him taken out, but it is what it is. It's a win for him. Him and Sophia start having a talk about making a bargain to get his mom back. He'll get Bliss. They make a deal, and they're going to have an exchange. Meanwhile, Sophia's trying to break Mom and get some more information regarding Oz and what's going on. Mom has an episode regarding the rain, starts regressing to that night. Sophia, again, is trying to figure out what might happen, so she gets Julian to help her. She goes to visit Gia, her niece-ish, I think, a niece, at the hospital, which looks very much like Arkham, so trigger, because they've told her that she saw something that night. So she goes to confirm that. She did. She saw a fucking mask in the bag. So she's aware that Sophia killed her parents. And she has. She starts lying to her, but she sees that she's got scratches on her arm. She's been cutting herself and starts seeing that same pattern that she went through. So instead, she tries to save her and tells her the truth and tells her that she did save her by killing her parents so that she's not part of this family. How that's going to work, I don't know. I feel like that's going to backfire at some point. I mean, it has to, right? How? We don't know. But that's how we leave it. She leaves her there with the knowledge, has a breakdown, goes back, decides not to continue breaking Mama Oz, and instead have that meet up and exchange. But is that what's really going to happen? Is it? So Oz is still trying to get a hold of Vic, can't get a hold of him, it's going to voicemail. A freaking G-Wagon pulls up. The crew's ready and loaded because, of course, they're going to ambush them as well. You know, this is what it is. There's no even trades. Someone's going to double-cross somebody. That's just the way it is. Now, it's who's going to double-cross you. So it rolls up slow. Driver jumps out. Sophia calls him. He's like, what the fuck? Now, we're thinking, oh, yeah, Mom's got to be dead in there. Or Vic could be dead in there. Who is it? Or is it both? Could be both. But you start seeing that Sophia's not in the car. That's another indication that we got to set up. Look at this maneuver back here. Guest stars, I'm telling you. But yeah, it's a red herring. It's a fucking bomb. And Oz being who he is, he saves his own ass, doesn't warn anybody, blows up, fucking subway goes under, and all hell breaks loose. What I'm learning about the show is the tones, man. There's so much emotion going on here, and the cinematography is able to capture all these emotions through all the tones. The acting has been just superior. Sophia and Oz are just such great parallels. Like, they're on the same path, essentially the same missions. We now understand his drive, the promise he makes to his mom to give her everything she deserves, and he'll do anything to do that. Her desire to be that top person, to live out of the parent's shadow, to be who she was meant to be. They both got that drive. They're on the same path, but not. If only they can make it work together, but they can't. But now that's what we get. That's what if this show doesn't fucking clean up during sweeps and award season, I'd be shocked, because they're just nailing on every aspect. Like Colin Farrell, like I said, is killing it with his role. I'm going blank on and I blame you, Salem, for messing with my freaking Christine Milani. Yeah, I mean, from her, Honestly, Clancy Brown, Mama Oz in particular too, like she's just nailing it. Deirdre O'Connell, she's just owning that role also. Um, it's a great show. And again, we're on episode 7. We've got more and more to go. I will say, the fact that all this shit's going down and we still haven't had a glimpse or word or any kind of interaction with Batman, like, it's astounding because at this point there should be some kind of whispers, there should be some mention. By episode 8, there's got to be something. Something. It just doesn't make sense for there would be nothing. If we don't see him, that's fine, but there's got to be some kind of a whisper, some kind of a like. There's got to be something down the pipeline that he's got word of shit, you know. But I'm loving it. I'm really sad that we've only got one more to go, but it has progressively been a better show each episode. Each episode. And honestly, the best that freaking DC has done in a very long time. Very, very long time. I love it. Let me know what you think down below. Like, follow, share, subscribe. And remember, appreciate you.